Hello and welcome to The Gaggle, where we challenge and, if necessary, destroy media narratives. I'm George Szamuely. With me today, of course, is co-founder of The Gaggle, Peter Lavelle. So, Peter, yesterday the European Union came to a, quote, agreement, unquote, on gas consumption. Remember we talked last week about the European Commission issuing this diktat demanding 15% cuts from all EU members, and to demonstrate solidarity toward one another, not to make unilateral agreements, and and to share alike, with their resources. So yesterday they came together and they came to an agreement, which in reality wasn't really much of an agreement. They said, yeah, we're gonna definitely cut back on our gas consumption by 15%, but it will be voluntary. And then we'll have all sorts of exemptions, like it doesn't apply to Malta, Cyprus, and Ireland, and other countries like Spain and Portugal who had complained in the past. I said, well, you don't have to go to 15%. You can do it less than that. Hungary voted against it anyway. The one country said, no, we're not having anything to do with it.
And we're not sharing.
And we're not sharing, having already purchased their 700 million cubic meters of natural gas from Russia, which, as you said before, they paid for it, so they're going to keep it. So they voted against it. But, Ursula von der Leyen said, well, take that, Putin. You tried to divide us. Well, you failed to divide us. But in the meantime, Russia, as promised, and this was when Putin said this in Tehran, that we haven't got back our turbine from Canada, contrary to all the media reports that it's been returned. Still hasn't been returned, and we need to do maintenance on another turbine. So that's going to come in on the 26th of July, and shock, horror, outrage. 26th of July, the Russians took out this turbine, and gas flows to Europe have been cut even more. Now it's something like 20% full capacity. So Ursula von der Leyen said, that just shows how unreliable the Russians are. We do not need their natural gas. They are unreliable partners.
But she says they don't want natural gas. What does reliability have to do with anything?
That's right. Yes. Yeah, the Europeans, they're reliable. They're very reliable. We'll sanction this, we'll sanction that. We're going to cut ourselves off from this, cut ourselves off from that, break our contracts, get into your bank account. But we are reliable. We're definitely reliable partners. And then Annalena Baerbock, the German foreign minister, gave an interview to Bild, and she said that, well, if the Russians think that sanctions are going to be lifted if they order a ceasefire, they've got another thing coming. We're not going to lift sanctions until every single Russian soldier has left Ukraine. It's very, very strange for her to start talking about lifting sanctions, because as things stand, Germany is suffering from the sanctions a lot more than Russia. So I don't know. She seems like, it sounds like the Russians are begging, please, please, please lift the sanctions. When Lavrov said the other day, we don't mind, fine, keep the sanctions on. We're not asking anyone to lift them. But it's Germany that is now pleading with everyone, cut back your gas, because, we need our gas, because our industries, and they're so famous around the world, and they won't be able to function if we don't have gas. Please, please, please. So she makes this ridiculous interview saying, well, right, you think we're going to give you a break? Forget about it.
Yeah. And the Russians are leaving the International Space Station in 2024, and they're going to build their own and probably partner with the Chinese. No American will be going to the International Space Station anytime soon. Right. About this consensus, unity, solidarity, cutting by 15%. That's kind of like saying we support the death penalty, but we'll leave it up to you if it's optional. Okay, you're condemned to death. You don't want to die? Okay, all right. Okay. This is just virtue signaling. It doesn't mean anything at all. And I don't think the European Commission has the power to do any of these things. Okay?
I mean, they can make it mandatory, but even then, all right, you made it mandatory. Well, what are you going to do about it? You know, you're going to send in some troops saying we're going to take your stinking gas from you.
What are you going to do? Send in, some big trucks that can carry natural gas? You know, invade Hungary and take the gas at gunpoint? Okay, is that what you're going to do? I mean, really? I mean, this is just ridiculous. I mean, this is just. It's like a cafeteria monitor, you know, everybody, you know, you clean your plates, okay? I mean, nobody cares. Nobody's going to be listening. And you know what? She's not in danger of losing her position. Sergeant Schultz is, oh yeah, okay. Ask Draghi, oh yeah, okay. Ask Boris Johnson, oh yeah. You think anybody, you know, these all, you know, as much as they've tried to destroy the nation state in the European Union, when it comes to staying warm and eating, people going to say there are limits to this, and everybody, it's only begun. You think the pain dial is at high? No, it's very low right now.
Right.
It's going to get worse and worse because if Nord Stream 1, and I couldn't believe that we're talking about that because we talked about so much about Nord Stream 2, if it's only at 20% capacity, what are the chances they're going to be able to have full capacity for winter coming up?
Right.
I think the chances are about 0. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, but wait, we have natural. There's more and more LNG coming in. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, it might just sit in a harbor someplace if you don't have the right equipment. I mean, this is so poorly thought out, and there will be enormous consequences. Enormous, as George and I have repeatedly said on this podcast. They're supposed to be rich and safe, right? That was what Europe, the first world. That's why we call it the first world. And all of the things that make the first world is evaporating from their hands right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. It's the whole thing is kind of hilarious because you know, they're saying, you know, this little Putin is weaponizing energy, and they're saying, you know, when they said that, well, we got to send this turbine for maintenance. Right, he's lying. He doesn't need no maintenance. I said, I don't know. It sounds plausible that he needs maintenance.
Are you an engineer, George? I'm not an engineer. I don't know. And canceling Nord Stream 2, that wasn't political?
Right, exactly. I mean, that was the thing. I mean, you cut off, Nord Stream 2, and then they said, we're not going to import any more coal from Russia. And then said, well, we're going to cut off all our oil imports by the end of the year. Well, you've got an energy problem on your hands, and then those countries.
That's for political reasons, George. That they're politicizing it. Yes. Okay, it's not because of the environment. It's not because of an act of God. It wasn't because of a storm. It wasn't because of an asteroid. No, this is a political decision. Yeah. Okay, so who's politicizing it? Who's weaponizing it?
That's right. That's it. And that's why it's just so bizarre that they're doing this. And then there's an article today on the CNN side by their CIA conduit, Natasha Bertrand, who says there that the Americans are getting very worried that the Europeans are not going to be able to hold the line on Russia because of energy. That despite this agreement struck yesterday, the Americans are not entirely convinced that the Europeans are going to hold firm as winter approaches. You don't say. And
I bet when Natasha wrote that, she had the air conditioning on full blast. She probably takes a shower 3 times a day, and I'm worried they won't be able to hold the line. Oh, come on.
Yeah, well, that's it. And so essentially they've only got this now Nord Stream 1. The Russians have said, well, it needs maintenance. And again, Putin said this in Tehran. I mean, he said, yeah, this is going to happen. I think the 26th of July. That's what you still haven't returned us the one that was sent to Canada, despite the stories that it's been returned and the Russians have it. Hasn't been returned. There's no reason why Putin should not say it hasn't been returned. It hasn't been returned.
And that was under contract. That was again breaking contracts, defying the due process. They're the ones that broke the contract. Russia didn't break the contract.
That's right. That's it. I mean, that's the whole point of stuff. And then so Russia is unreliable. Now, the one thing we know that there's the history of Soviet and then Russian provision of natural gas is that they are very reliable. They always deliver. They deliver exactly as us. Now, if you play around with them, if you jerk them around, I mean, maybe they are now making life difficult. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they think that? Yeah, I mean, you don't want our gas, fine.
Well, I mean,
don't take our gas.
And so, I don't know if Europe can hold the line when Zelensky's crew comes out and says, "Well, we want not a lend-lease program that is gas lease. We want gas lease. So we want natural gas for free from where? I guess Europe. Okay, when they're cutting 15%, now the Ukrainians say, now where's our free natural gas? Okay, you said whatever it takes. Well, we need it. Okay,
that's right. That's right. No,
this adds to the absurdity of it all. So one of the richest landmass in the world, Europe, is being impoverished, and now they have to give it to a country that wouldn't fulfill its agreements, where the Europeans were the guarantors. Okay, I mean, this is getting any stupider than this.
That's right. No, there's no question. I mean, as winter approaches, Ukraine is going to start upping the ante. Hey, you said you're going to do everything for us. And Stoltenberg said this the other day. We're going to do everything at all that Ukraine needs in order that it can get an agreement that is acceptable to Ukraine, which is all that matters. The peace agreement has to be acceptable to Ukraine. Okay, well, then Zelensky said, yeah, we want, here's our bill. We need all of this. Otherwise, this agreement will not be acceptable to Ukraine. So it really is this absurd. And so, they come along and they spend their time saying, oh, it's Russia's doing this, Russia's doing that. But ultimately, they are the ones who got themselves into this mess. And for reasons that they're unable to explain. I mean, which is what makes the whole thing so bizarre. You're still, why are you doing this? What great stakes? And don't tell me about the rules-based international order. What is it? Why you get yourself into this mess?
I have this inkling, George, that behind closed doors, that Erdogan is the most hated, but Erdogan is not far behind. Okay, right. And they say, well, maybe Erdogan can talk to Putin. Maybe we can, some kind of shenanigan they're going to pull off. Okay, right. Well, Turkey, our NATO ally, brokered a deal. I mean, he's a NATO ally. We trust him. No, they don't. Okay, they don't like him. They'll never be in the European Union. But they're going to have to find some kind of way out, And like I said, the pain dial is still low to medium. Okay, we got a ways to go, particularly since the word is that there is a major offensive that will happen in Ukraine in the month of August, but it won't be the Ukrainian one. Okay, right. Most likely will be the Russian one.
Right. Well, the other thing, of course, is that the Americans, as always, they're sitting pretty. I mean, they can say, well, we're worried about that the Ukrainians won't hold the line. I mean, the Europeans won't hold the line. Well, America has a lot of energy. I mean, America's not suffering. I mean, they have engineered this policy in such a way that the Europeans are suffering. I mean, for a policy cooked up by Washington, by Victoria Nuland and Antony Blinken, Barack Obama, and the rest of them. They cooked up this policy, and the Europeans are bearing the brunt. I mean, historians will be baffled when they write about this as to why it was that Europe allowed itself to be maneuvered into this disaster for an American policy. And the Americans are sitting pretty. We're all right. We've got oil. We've got gas. So we can live without Russian oil and gas.
Crosstalk recording yesterday and had Ray McGovern on. He was such a great guy, and we had a guest in Toronto, and we were trying to square the circle here. And I said, well, what's it going to take? He said, well, hopefully the Europeans will see the error of their ways. And all the other guests, we went, oh, wait, hope and Europe? I mean, do they work together right now? I mean, if you had any kind of hope, they never would have found themselves in this awful mess. Right. And, it's just like, with COVID and the supply chains, that everything started getting jammed up.
Yeah.
You know, jamming all of this up now, even if all the sanctions are dropped, it's going to take a long time to undo the damage that you've done.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
these things, you know, these are really very sophisticated operations, energy grids of all levels, natural gas, oil, nuclear, the whole bit. These are sophisticated things. You don't fiddle with them.
Yeah, yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely. And I think that's they did this, and it's going to be an enormous undertaking to resuscitate these energy grids and supply chains and everything else. But the bigger problem is that there's no end game here. I mean, because ultimately, as long as the United States can keep this nonsense up with Zelensky, oh, you want 12 HIMARS? Fine, we're sending you 12 HIMARS. You want 20 HIMARS? Okay, we'll send you 20. As long as that's it, you can keep this war going, however pointless, then that's it. Europe is just going to be stuck. I mean, and then Europe is just simply going to be just led to total disaster.
But see, again, there's this discursive quandary that they've painted themselves into. I mean, was it Ursula von der Leyen? She said, or was it your favorite, Annalena? We won't even think about ending sanctions until the last Russian leaves Ukraine. I mean, come on, lady.
Yes.
Come on, lady.
Yeah. That's it.
The Russians lost a lot of soldiers, and the anger of at least a small part of the world. You think they're just going to give it away and say, "Oh, never mind"? Right. Donbass is the Donbass. It is two republics, and more countries are recognizing them. Not many, but they do. Okay, and Crimea. That's Russian soil. So I don't know what world, parallel universe you're living in.
No, they don't. I mean, and it's that's what's so absurd about it, is that they seem to think that they have some kind of leverage. But it's obviously that they don't have any leverage. I mean, once it became clear that the sanctions are hurting the Europeans, this was clear already several months ago, and they said it. Sergeant Schultz said this. The sanctions should not hurt us more than it hurts Russians. So you already knew this several months ago, and it's clear. So how does she arrive at this position that somehow it's up to us, to bestow a favor on the Russians to lift the sanctions? Well, I mean, it's you got yourself in this mess. And the Russians just say, we're not even dealing with you. We're going to deal with the United States. So it's a strange kind of mindset. I mean, I guess they're just stuck in it. They don't have any way of getting out of it. But really, they're just not in the position of dictating terms.
Well, that's it, George. I mean, that epoch is over. It's been over for a while. The Europeans demand this of country A, B, and C, and well, why would they listen to them? Okay. And again, when I've talked about this at great length, a lot of the countries that are lecturing and badgering are former colonies of Europeans, and they're these former colonies, they don't take well of, a diktat coming from Paris, London, Rome, Lisbon. They just don't take well to it. Okay. Particularly when they don't have a gripe with the Russians. Why?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they do it in exactly the common sense way. I'm in Uganda. What's Ukraine to me? I mean, it's just not an issue. And again, when Imran Khan said, I'm concerned with Kashmir. I mean, it's just that's an issue close to my heart. Ukraine isn't. So, I mean, that's it. I mean, the bizarre thing is that the Europeans have refused to think along those lines, and got themselves into this mess.
They think it's 1922.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where they can determine who's a leader in the Arab world and who what African country they can squeeze and all of that. They think that they're just in a time warp. Okay. And the difference is it has real world impact on their own people.
Right.
Most of when you look at Western imperialism, it was, the governments made some money, individuals made huge amounts of money, and for the masses, it was just theater. Yeah. Our flag is here, our flag is here. It was kabuki theater for the masses. Okay, but now it's not funny now.
Okay? Right. Yeah, that's right.
All right, everybody. This ridiculous energy policy. I mean, I live in Russia. There's a lot of energy here. No one's worried about that. Okay. But
Right.
Russia's the biggest exporter of grain in the world. And so I think if things are played out well, it'll be the greatest bumper crop in Russian history. Okay.
Right.
And it's, don't worry, Burrell. Don't worry. We're going to stop blaming you for the sanctions on food around the world. And I don't want to forget that George and I are keeping a very close eye on the Burrell blog.
The Burrell blog, very important. Yes.
It is the gift that keeps on giving. Okay. Future historians will marvel at how mindless this man was.
That's right. I dare say next time he's going to write things. So we showed Putin once again how united we are. Once again, we signed an agreement. Putin must be really, fuming at this.
One day, an ambulance is going to stop by, and these guys in white coats are going to come out and say, Joseph, we want you to put this on. Come quietly, okay? Because, you've left the realm of reality, okay? If this is the kind of mind that's running the European foreign policy establishment, they are in really, really big trouble. But he might have good company if Liz Truss makes it.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
All right, everybody, this is The Gaggle with Peter and George. We're on Local, so please go to thegaggle.locals.com. Please visit our store in about 24 hours. Take it away, George.
24 hours was my next installment of my live stream on Locals, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Please join me. Come with comments, criticisms, suggestions. Everything is welcome. And on the way out to your local watering hole, look at, remember little buddy. He's now so despondent, he doesn't even bother to make an appearance. So things are really bad. If you've got a few bob in your pocket, whip him out, dunk him in his little tip jar, and he'll be a happy camper. We're very grateful for all of your help and friendship and support. The more you're able to donate, the more of these videos we can make. And there he is. And above all, the happier Buddy will be, because we just don't like him being this depressed. So remember, if you like The Gaggle, please like, share, and subscribe. See you soon. Bye.